Emergency services, what's your emergency?
Fire! There's a fire! The house is on fire!
Sir, I need you to stay calm. What's your address?
18 Victory Road, Derby. My kids are inside. I can't get to them.
How many children are in the house?
6. There's 6 kids upstairs.
Sir.
Oh God, please, you have to hurry.
Sir, fire services are on their way. Are you outside the house?
I'm trying to get in. I can't. The door won't open. My babies are in there.
What the operator didn't know, what the neighbors rushing into the street didn't know, what the firefighters racing toward Victory Road didn't know, was that the man screaming into that phone had poured the petrol himself, had lit the match himself, had condemned his own children to death, and in less than 10 minutes, 6 children would be dead. This is the story of how a father became a murderer, and how everyone failed to stop him. May 11th, 2012, 4:07 a.m. While firefighters are still pulling children's bodies from the burning house, while neighbors stand in the street crying, while ambulances scream through Derby's empty streets, we need to go back. Because Mick Philpott didn't become a child killer overnight. He was built, piece by piece, failure by failure. And the first failure happened 34 years earlier. 1978, the first victim. Mick Philpott is 22 years old, British Army, stationed in Derby. He meets a girl named Kim Hill. She's 15. Think about that for a moment. A grown man, a soldier, and a 15-year-old schoolgirl. This isn't a romance. This is grooming.
I thought I'd found love. I was 15 years old, still in school. He was older, confident, charming at first. I thought he was my soulmate. I found a monster.
At first, Philpott is everything a teenage girl dreams of. Attentive, protective. He sweeps her off her feet. Then, slowly, he reveals who he really is. It starts with jealousy, then possessiveness, then isolation, then violence. Not behind closed doors, not hidden, in public.
One night at the pub, I said something he didn't like. I don't even remember what it was. Maybe I smiled at someone. Maybe I laughed too loud. Maybe I just existed wrong.
Philpott picks up a pool cue and smashes it across her mouth.
Blood everywhere. My teeth, I could feel them loose in my mouth. And nobody helped me. Not one person.
No one intervened. Not one person. Why? Because Mick Philpott has already established something crucial. He's unpredictable. He's dangerous. And if you challenge him, you might be next.
You do not say no to Mick Philpott. He doesn't understand the word no.
The escalation. The violence gets worse. Kim is babysitting one afternoon. She's caring for someone else's infant. Gentle, loving, everything a caretaker should be. Philpott sees her tenderness toward this baby, and he's jealous. Jealous of a baby.
He broke my arm and fractured my kneecap with a hammer because I was paying attention to a child I was minding. A baby.
Let that image settle in your mind. A teenage girl caring for a child, and her boyfriend, a grown man, beats her with a hammer because she showed affection to an infant. What kind of psychology is that?
Philpott exhibits classic traits of antisocial personality disorder, combined with extreme narcissism. To him, any attention not directed at him is perceived as theft. He sees people, including children, as objects that exist solely for his benefit.
But Philpott isn't done. Kim wears a dress to a family gathering. Philpott thinks it's too short.
he shoots her in the groin with a crossbow. A crossbow.
Think about that. You don't grab a crossbow in a moment of rage. You load it. You aim it. You pull the trigger. That's calculated.
Kim, still in school, lies about her injuries. I fell down the stairs. I walked into a door. The usual lies that abuse victims tell, because telling the truth means more violence. After 2 years of this hell, Kim finds the courage to leave. She writes him a letter, because telling him face to face would be suicide. Philpott's response is methodical. July 1978, the night Kim almost died. Philpott goes AWOL from the Army. This is desertion, a military crime. But he doesn't care. He breaks into Kim's house. It's late. Kim is asleep in her bed. Safe. Or so she thinks.
I woke up to a weight on my chest. I couldn't see in the dark, but I could feel him there. Then I heard his voice.
If I can't have you, no one else will.
And then the pain started.
Philpott has a 9-inch knife. He stabs her 27 times. Not a crime of passion, not a moment of rage. 27 deliberate stab wounds. He slashes her stomach open, punctures her lungs, her bladder, her kidney, her liver.
I died twice that night. Once in the ambulance, once on the operating table. The surgeons told me later I shouldn't have survived.
Kim's mother hears the screaming and runs into the room. Philpott stabs her 11 times. This isn't self-defense. This isn't an accident. This is attempted murder. Kim's mother, a nurse, crawls to the phone despite her injuries. She calls for help. When paramedics arrive, they find Philpott sitting on the stairs, still holding the bloody knife.
I wouldn't bother. She's a goner. I've done a good job on her.
I've done a good job on her. He was proud of his work.
4 decades later, I'm still in counseling. I still have nightmares. I still jump when I hear loud noises.
The system's first failure. Philpott is arrested, charged with attempted murder and grievous bodily harm. The evidence is overwhelming. The knife, the wounds, the witnesses. Open and shut case. He's sentenced to 7.5 years in prison. He serves 3 years and 2 months. 3 years and 2 months for nearly killing 2 people. Why? Good behavior. Let me ask you something. If you nearly murdered your girlfriend, stabbing her 27 times, slashing her stomach open, leaving her to die, and you serve barely 3 years, what lesson do you learn? Not that violence is wrong, but that violence has no real consequences. While in prison, Philpott sends Kim letters, apologizing, promising to change, even proposing marriage. Classic abuser behavior. The cycle. Violence, remorse, promises, repeat.
I never responded, but the system did. It said, "You're rehabilitated. You're free to go." No therapy, no monitoring, no restrictions, just freedom.
And Mick Philpott walks out of prison ready to do it all again. Act 2. Building the Empire. 1986. Philpott is free. He marries a woman named Pamela Lomax. They have 3 children together. The abuse continues immediately, but Pamela doesn't report it. Why? Because she knows what happened to Kim. She's living with a man who nearly butchered his ex-girlfriend to death. So she stays quiet, she endures, and she prays he'll move on to someone else. In 1993, her prayers are answered. Philpott, now 37, begins a relationship with a 14-year-old named Heather Kehoe. 14 years old. Pamela leaves him. Heather runs away from her parents to be with Philpott. On her 16th birthday, they move in together. They have 2 sons. Philpott wants more children, specifically a daughter. When Heather doesn't produce a girl fast enough, he beats her. He beats her for not giving birth to the gender he wanted. But Philpott does something particularly twisted with Heather. He teaches his older sons to abuse her. Picture this: young boys, maybe 8 or 9 years old, being trained by their father to hit, demean, and control a woman. What does that do to a child's psychology?
It creates generational trauma. These boys learn that violence against women is normal, expected, even required. Philpott wasn't just abusing Heather, he was creating the next generation of abusers.
Heather is locked outside in the garden as punishment. She has a knife held to her throat when she tries to leave. Eventually, she climbs over a fence and escapes, but she has to leave her children behind. It takes years of legal battles to get them back. The pattern is now crystal clear. Find them young, groom them, isolate them, break them down, make them too afraid to leave. But Philpott is evolving. He's not just looking for victims anymore. He's building a kingdom. 2000, the triple household begins. Mick Philpott meets 19-year-old Marie Duffy. She's a single mother, just escaped an abusive relationship, vulnerable, broken, perfect.
Mairead told me later that when she met Mick, she thought he was her guardian angel. He positioned himself as her savior. That's what these men do. They find you when you're at your lowest.
Philpott becomes, in Mairead's words, her guardian angel. Think about that manipulation. She's fleeing abuse, and he positions himself as her savior. They move in together. He proposes after the birth of their first child, Jade. But Philpott has bigger plans. 2001. He begins a relationship with 16-year-old Lisa Willis. She's an orphan, a single mother, no family support system. He moves her into his house, with Mairead, his wife.
Looking back now, I can't believe I agreed to it. But when you're that young, that isolated, that broken, you don't see it as abuse. You see it as belonging.
Let that image settle. One house, one man, 2 women, and eventually 17 children between all his relationships. How do you convince 2 women to share one man? Psychological warfare. Philpott doesn't work. The women do. He collects their paychecks and government benefits, roughly £25,000 a year. The children aren't family to him. They're assets, revenue streams. The more kids, the more money.
He even slept in a caravan in the garden. Mairead and I would take turns spending nights with him. It sounds insane now, but at the time, that was just our life.
He even sleeps in a caravan in the garden. The women take turns spending nights with him. Think about the control required to orchestrate this. Think about the manipulation, the gaslighting, the constant threat of violence. Lisa and Mairead become close, sisters in captivity.
Mairead became my best friend. We confided in each other. I treated her children as my own. We were both trapped, but at least we had each other.
But underneath this bizarre arrangement, pressure is building. 2007, the public spectacle. Philpott goes on the Jeremy Kyle show. For context, this is Britain's version of Jerry Springer, confrontational, loud, designed for spectacle. Philpott brings both women. He's proud of his arrangement.
You have 17 children. You don't work. You live off benefits. You expect the government to house all of you. What gives you the right?
Talk to that, pal. Talk to that.
The audience is disgusted, but Philpott doesn't care. He feeds on the attention. He's a narcissist who just got a national platform. He lies on camera, claiming he's had a vasectomy. He'll have 2 more children after this appearance. Later that year, a documentary crew follows him. A conservative MP tries to help him find work. She arranges 3 job interviews. he doesn't show up to a single one. Why work when children are worth more than labor? The cracks appear. Behind the cameras, the situation is deteriorating.
He hit me with pieces of wood, threw hot coffee at me, prevented me from leaving the house or speaking to any men. It was getting worse.
Mairead is slapped, dragged outside by her hair. In 2010, Philpott receives a police caution. Not an arrest, not a charge. A warning. Another system failure. Both women are trapped. But Lisa has something Mairead doesn't. A sister who cares. February 2012. The escape. February 2012. Lisa tells Mairead she's taking her 5 children swimming.
It was a lie. I couldn't tell her the truth because I knew Mick would find out. I moved in with my sister that day. It was the only way to leave without him knowing until it was too late.
It's the only way to leave without confrontation. Because confrontation with Mick Philpott means violence. For the first time in years, 5 of Philpott's revenue streams are gone. 5 children, thousands in annual benefits. Gone. Philpott is furious, not because he loves those children, but because he's losing control, losing money, losing his image. A custody battle begins, and that's when Philpott decides to do something unthinkable. Act 3. The Plan. May 10th, 2012, 11:47 p.m. Less than 3 months after Lisa left, Mick Philpott is meeting with 2 people, his wife, Mairead, and a family friend, Paul Mosley. Tomorrow morning, Philpott has a custody hearing. Lisa is fighting for full custody of her 5 children. Philpott cannot allow this, not because he loves them, but because losing them means losing money. So he proposes a plan, a scheme so stupid, so reckless, so evil that it should never have been spoken aloud.
Here's what we'll do. We pour petrol through the letterbox, set a small fire. I get the ladder, rescue the kids through the windows. Everyone sees me as the hero. Lisa looks like she tried to kill them. We get custody. We get more benefits. Maybe even a bigger house.
Mick, I don't know about this.
It'll work. Trust me. Just a small fire. We'll be in and out.
The plan. Pour petrol through the mail slot in the middle of the night. Set the house on fire. Rescue the children from the blaze. Frame Lisa as the arsonist. Win custody. Get more benefits. Maybe even get a bigger house. It's breathtakingly idiotic. But narcissists don't think like normal people. They think they're smarter than everyone else. Philpott genuinely believes he can start a controlled fire. Impossible. Save his children. Unlikely. Frame someone else. Difficult. Fool the police. Laughable. And still come out a hero.
To even conceive this plan requires a complete absence of empathy. Philpott saw his children as objects, not people. To him, they were pawns in a game. Their safety, their lives, none of that mattered compared to his need for control and money.
Paul Mosley, the third monster. Who is Paul Mosley, and why does he agree to this? Mosley is 46 years old, a family friend, unremarkable except for one thing. He's completely under Philpott's control. How do we know? Because hours before the fire, Philpott does something that reveals his true nature.
We later learned that on the night before the fire, Philpott had Mairead perform oral sex on Paul Mosley while he watched. This wasn't about sex, it was about control. He was compromising Mosley, ensuring his loyalty.
He has Mairead perform oral sex on Mosley over a snooker table while Philpott watches. Why? To ensure loyalty, to compromise Mosley, to make him complicit in something shameful so he won't back out. This is trafficking behavior. Philpott is pimping out his wife to secure an accomplice for child murder. Later, police recordings will capture Philpott telling Mairead,
"I'm proud of you because you didn't want to do it."
he's proud that she did something against her will. Mairead is a victim. She's been systematically broken down for over a decade. Isolated, controlled, abused. But she's also about to become a murderer because she chooses Philpott over her children, and that choice will kill 6 kids. Act 4, The Fire. May 11th, 2012, 3:45 a.m. Inside 18 Victory Road, 6 children are sleeping. Dwayne, 13, dreaming about his football match tomorrow. Jade, 10, who has homework due Monday. John, 9, who fell asleep thinking about his birthday next month. Jack, 7, who's scared of the dark and sleeps with a nightlight. Jesse, 6, who still wets the bed sometimes and is embarrassed about it. Jaden, 5, clutching his stuffed animal, sucking his thumb. They're safe, warm, loved, or so they think. 3:58 a.m. Mick Philpott and Paul Mosley approach the house. Philpott is carrying a container. It sloshes as he walks. Petrol, gallons of it. They stop at the front door.
Are you sure about this, Mick?
Philpott doesn't answer. He kneels down and opens the mail slot. The smell of petrol fills the air immediately. Sharp, chemical, wrong. Philpott pours. Not a little, not a careful amount. He empties the entire container through that mail slot. The petrol splashes across the hallway floor. It seeps under the stairs. It pools against the walls. The fumes are so strong that Mosley gags and steps back.
Jesus, Mick, that's too much.
Shut up. It'll be fine.
Philpott pulls out a lighter. For 1 second, one brief second, he hesitates. Does he think about his children upstairs? Does some tiny part of his conscience scream at him to stop? We'll never know, because he flicks the lighter, and everything goes to hell. 4:00 a.m. The match touches the petrol. What happens next occurs in less than 4 seconds. The petrol doesn't catch fire. It explodes.
Fuck!
Jesus Christ, Mick! Mick!
A wall of flame erupts from the mail slot, shooting up the stairs like a living thing. The hallway becomes a tunnel of fire. The wallpaper ignites. The carpet melts. The temperature spikes from 15 degrees Celsius to 300 degrees Celsius in an instant.
Petrol fires are explosive. They don't spread gradually, they detonate. Based on the amount of accelerant used, that hallway would have become an inferno in under 5 seconds. The stairs, the only escape route, were immediately impassable.
Philpott stumbles backward, his eyebrows singed, because he's just realized this isn't a controlled fire. This is an inferno. 4:15 a.m., upstairs, back bedroom. Dwayne's eyes snap open, not because of noise, because of heat. His room is getting warm, fast, uncomfortably fast. He sits up, confused, still half asleep. Then he smells it. Smoke. Not cigarette smoke, not cooking smoke. The thick, chemical, wrong smoke that tells your animal brain danger. Dwayne throws off his blanket and stumbles to the door. He puts his hand on the handle. It's hot, not warm, hot, like touching a stove. He jerks his hand back, confused. What's happening? He opens the door anyway. 4:30 a.m., the hallway. The hallway is gone. Where there should be a landing, there's a roaring orange hell. The wallpaper is peeling off in sheets of flame. The ceiling is black with smoke. The carpet is melting into liquid. The smoke is so thick, Dwayne can't see 3 feet in front of him. His first instinct, the instinct of a protective older brother, is to get the little ones. He takes 2 steps toward their bedroom and starts coughing. Not a normal cough, a choking, gasping, drowning on dry land cough. His lungs are filling with superheated air and toxic gas. Every breath is poison.
At temperatures above 150 degrees Celsius, the air itself becomes a weapon. Each breath would have felt like inhaling broken glass. Carbon monoxide, cyanide from burning plastics, sulfur dioxide, all attacking his respiratory system simultaneously.
Dwayne's brain is already being starved of oxygen. He probably thinks, I need to get to the kids. He probably thinks, where's Dad? He probably thinks, why isn't Dad coming? But Dad isn't coming. Dad is outside, screaming for the neighbors to hear, playing the role of his life. 4:45 a.m. Dwayne stumbles forward. His vision is blurring. His legs aren't working right. The smoke is so thick it's like swimming through ink. He reaches out, trying to find the wall, trying to orient himself. His hand touches something hot. He screams and pulls back. The wall is on fire. Dwayne falls to his knees. Firefighters train people get low. The smoke rises. But Dwayne is 13. He doesn't know this. He's just a scared kid looking for his dad. He crawls toward where he thinks the stairs are. Maybe I can get down. Maybe I can get help. He makes it 5 feet. Then his body shuts down. Not all at once. Slowly. Horribly. His lungs, full of toxic smoke, can't get oxygen to his brain. His vision goes dark at the edges. His arms stop responding. He collapses in the hallway. His last conscious thought is probably, Dad, where are you? 4:01 a.m. The younger children's bedroom. The 5 younger children are still asleep. This is the only mercy in this entire story. They probably never woke up. Smoke rises, heat rises. The toxic gases filled their room from the ceiling down, like invisible water flooding a sinking ship.
Carbon monoxide is odorless, colorless. At high concentrations, it causes unconsciousness within minutes. The younger children, sleeping closer to where the smoke accumulated, likely never regained consciousness.
Jaden, 5, sleeping with his stuffed animal, breathing in smoke with every tiny breath. Jesse, 6, who was scared of monsters under the bed, never imagining the real monster was his own father. Jack, 7, the sensitive one who asked every night, Daddy, you'll keep us safe, right? John, 9, who had planned what he'd do at his birthday party next month. Jade, 10, who wanted to be a teacher when she grew up. One by one, their small bodies stopped fighting. Their hearts slowed. Their brains shut down. Like lights going out. They died in the dark, in their beds, with no one coming to save them. 4:30 a.m. The fire spreads. The temperature in the children's bedroom climbs past 500 degrees Celsius. Their skin blisters. Their hair singes. The bedding ignites. But they're already gone. Their bodies, small, fragile, innocent, are being destroyed by a fire their father set. 4:02 a.m. Outside. Mick Philpott is screaming.
My babies! My babies are in there!
Oh my God, Mick, where are the kids?
Upstairs! They're upstairs!
Someone calls 999. Philpott runs to the front door, or appears to run. He pounds on it, kicks it.
The door wasn't locked. It opened inward, and the fire's pressure was holding it shut. A determined person, especially one motivated by saving their children, could have forced it open. Philpott didn't.
He also has a ladder at the back of the house, the one planned for the rescue. He never gets it. Why?
Because the fire spread too fast? Because he panicked? Or because some dark part of him realizes, if I go in there, I'll die too. Or worse, if there are no survivors, no one can contradict my story. 4:05 a.m., 7 minutes after the fire started. All 6 children are dead or dying. Dwayne is unconscious in the hallway, his body slowly shutting down. The 5 younger children are gone, silent, still, their small lungs full of poison. 4:06 a.m. Firefighters arrive. Professional, fast, efficient, completely useless. They break through the door and are hit with a wall of heat so intense they have to back out and gear up.
The heat was like opening an industrial oven, over 600 degrees Celsius at the doorway. We had to fully gear up before entry was possible.
When they finally enter with full equipment, they find the children upstairs. Small bodies, smoke blackened, still. Some in their beds, some on the floor. One firefighter will later say he had to take early retirement because of what he saw. Another will describe finding Jaden still clutching his stuffed animal, its fur singed black. 4:15 a.m. The bodies are brought outside. Paramedics know immediately these children are beyond saving, but protocol demands they try. So they bring the small bodies outside, onto the front lawn, and attempt CPR while neighbors watch in horror.
Those poor babies. Those poor, poor babies.
5 are pronounced dead at the scene, and Mick Philpott stands there, screaming, crying, playing the devastated father. 4:20 a.m. Dwayne, strong, protective Dwayne, holds on. He's rushed to the hospital, intubated, ventilated, every machine available keeping him alive. For 2 days, he fights. His organs are shutting down. His brain has been without oxygen for too long, but his heart keeps beating. May 13th, 2012, 9:47 a.m. Dwayne Philpott is pronounced dead. The last thing his brain registered, before the damage became irreversible, was probably this: "Dad, why didn't you save us?" Act 5, The Investigation. May 11th, 2012, 10 a.m. 6 children are dead. The community is in shock. Mick Philpott is being comforted by neighbors, crying, accepting condolences. But Detective Inspector Chris Eyre isn't buying it.
Something about his behavior was off. Most parents who lose children in a fire are catatonic with grief. Philpott was performing. He was aware of who was watching, how he appeared. That raised immediate red flags.
The fire was too intense, too fast, too deliberate. Eyre orders a full arson investigation. May 12th, 2012. Fire investigators enter the house. The scene is horrific. The entire hallway is destroyed. The stairs are charred black. The upstairs bedrooms are gutted. But the ignition point is obvious. The mail slot.
There was a distinctive burn pattern radiating from the letterbox, the kind you only get with accelerant. We took samples immediately.
They take samples, run tests. Petrol, gallons of it. This wasn't an accident. This was arson. This was murder. The forensic evidence mounts. A discarded petrol container found 200 meters from the house. A glove with petrol residue. Petrol on Philpott's clothing. Petrol on Mayred's clothing. Petrol on Paul Mosley's clothing. But physical evidence isn't enough. They need to prove intent.
We knew Philpott was involved, but we needed him to tell us. Narcissists can't help themselves. They need to control the narrative. So we gave him the opportunity.
May 14th, 2012. The police set a trap. They place recording devices in Philpott's car, his hotel room, interview rooms. Then they wait. Narcissists can't help themselves. They need to talk, to brag, to control the narrative. And Philpott does not disappoint. The hotel room recording, night 1.
It's my fault. It's my fault we lost our children.
Don't say that, Mick.
But it is. It's my fault we lost our family.
Not the fire did this. Not it was an accident. My fault. Night 2.
You're sticking with the story, right? I didn't mean to do it. On my life, I didn't mean to.
Yes, Mick.
Say it. Tell me the story.
Lisa must have done it. She was angry about the custody. She wanted to hurt us.
I didn't mean to do it. There it is. A confession. Night 3. The depravity. Police listen as Philpott has sex with Mayrid. His children have been dead for 72 hours. Then, worse.
The recordings captured Philpott ordering his wife to perform oral sex on Paul Mosley while he watched. His children's funeral was scheduled for 2 days later. The level of depravity was, I've never encountered anything like it.
I'm proud of you. I know you didn't want to. The detectives listening to this recording are speechless. One later says, I've investigated murders for 20 years. I've never encountered someone this empty. May 28th, 2012. Arrests.
Mick Philpott, Mairead Philpott. You are under arrest on suspicion of murder. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defense if you do not mention, when questioned, something which you later rely on in court.
November 5th, 2012. Paul Mosley is arrested. All 3 are charged. Act 6. The trial. April 2nd, 2013. Derby Crown Court. The prosecution's case is devastating. Forensic evidence of arson, recorded confessions, financial motive, custody equals benefits, witness testimony. The defense tries to argue they didn't intend to kill the children. The judge isn't having it.
If you endanger lives through reckless, stupid, evil actions, and those people die, you are responsible for their deaths. Intent to kill is not required for a finding of unlawful killing.
The jury hears the hotel room recordings. One juror starts crying. Another looks physically ill. They're hearing a man who murdered his children discuss his cover story while having sex. The forensic expert takes the stand.
At temperatures above 500 degrees Celsius, human tissue begins to break down. The children's last moments would have involved extreme pain, even if they were unconscious from smoke inhalation. Their bodies' natural responses, trying to breathe, trying to escape, would have been in overdrive.
A juror has to leave the courtroom. The prosecution shows photographs, not of the bodies, of the children's bedroom before the fire. Toys, stuffed animals, drawings. One child had written, "I love my daddy," in crayon. The paper survived the fire, charred, smoke-stained, but readable. "I love my daddy." The jury looks at Mick Philpott. He's expressionless. April 3rd, 2013. Verdict.
On the charge of manslaughter in the death of Dwayne Philpott, how do you find the defendant, Mick Philpott?
Guilty.
On the charge of manslaughter in the death of Jade Philpott, how do you find the defendant?
Guilty.
Guilty. All 3. All 6 counts of manslaughter. Sentencing.
Mick Philpott, you have been convicted of 6 counts of manslaughter. You have killed 6 children who trusted you to protect them. You have betrayed that trust in the worst possible way. Your actions were evil, stupid, and born of pure selfishness. I sentence you to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 15 years. Mairead Philpott, you put your husband before your children. They died because of that choice. I sentence you to 17 years imprisonment. Paul Mosley, you were a willing participant in this evil scheme. I sentence you to 17 years imprisonment.
Act 7. The aftermath. November 2020. Mairead Philpott is released after serving only 8.5 years. She's given a new identity, protective custody. The public is outraged. May 2021. Paul Mosley is released. 2022. Mosley violates parole. Sent back. November 2023. Mosley is released again. The parole board states imprisonment is no longer necessary for the protection of the public. Is the public safe? Mick Philpott remains in prison. He's eligible for parole in 2027. He'll be 71 years old. Will he be released? That depends on whether the system has learned anything. The questions that should haunt us. This case isn't about one evil man. It's about systemic failure. Failure number 1. Philpott nearly murdered Kim Hill in 1978. He served 3 years.
If he'd served his full sentence, if the system had taken it seriously, those children might still be alive.
Failure number 2. Multiple women reported abuse. Police gave warnings, not arrests. How many chances does a monster get? Failure number 3. Media gave him a platform, made him a celebrity. Did that feed his narcissism? Failure number 4. The community defended him, even after the fire.
We all said he loved his kids. We were so wrong. He fooled all of us.
Why? Because narcissists are excellent performers. Failure number 5. 2 accomplices are free after serving half their sentences. Is that justice? The children we must remember. I want to end not with Mick Philpott, but with 6 lives. Dwayne, 13, wanted to be a firefighter, died trying to save his siblings. Jade, 10, intelligent, loved school, dreamed of being a teacher. John, 9, cheerful, made everyone laugh. Jack, 7, quiet, sensitive, afraid of the dark. Jesse, 6, loud, full of life, the family character. Jaden, 5, the baby, still believed his daddy would always protect him. They weren't statistics, they weren't benefit payments, they were children who deserved to grow up. The horror that should terrify you. Close your eyes, picture this. You're 7 years old, you're sleeping in your bed, safe, warm. You trust your father, he's supposed to protect you. At 4 a.m., your bedroom fills with smoke. You can't breathe. You can't see. You call for your dad. He doesn't come. You try to move, but your legs won't work. Your lungs are burning. Your last thought is, "Daddy, where are you?" And your daddy is standing outside, screaming for show, waiting for you to die. That's the horror, not the fire, not the smoke, the betrayal. The final question. How many Mick Philpotts are out there right now? How many men who nearly killed someone are walking free? How many teenagers are being groomed? How many children are being used for money?
Statistically, there are thousands of individuals with similar psychological profiles. The difference is opportunity and enablement. Society's response to early warning signs determines whether they escalate.
The real horror isn't that Mick Philpott existed. It's that the system let him exist for 34 years, and 6 children paid with their lives.
I think about those kids every day. Jade, John, Jack, Jesse, Jaden, and Dwayne. I escaped with my children. Mareed's children didn't get that chance, and that will haunt me forever.
In memory of Dwayne, Jade, John, Jack, Jesse, and Jaden, may they never be forgotten.